What's up everybody, thank you so much for joining me on another video. Alright, so today we're going to talk about the top 10 modifications that I see people do to their bikes. Now this video is kind of specific towards the Yeng Yeng slash the flatty type of bikes, but these mods are pretty universal and will work on almost any kind of bike. So stay tuned, the video starts right now.
Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Subscribe, share, ring the post notification bell so you will be notified whenever we drop a new video.
So these mods that we're going to talk about, they will either improve your bike as in the riding experience, make your bike a little bit faster or feel a little bit more comfortable, or even help you on the road in case you drop your bike, help to protect your bike. These mods are not in any specific order. So the first one that we're going to talk about is crash bars. Here in Jamaica we call them crash pegs or stun pegs or crash bars. You know, they have many names, but they do basically the same thing. These can range from, you know, somebody fabricating something right on your bike to even you just buying some crash pegs or crash sliders as others would call them. Price range for these, they range anywhere between 1,000 Jamaican dollars up to 2,000 Jamaican dollars depending on the type that you buy. You have some metal ones, you have some hard plastic type of ones, and then you can get the fabricated ones which are basically metal. You would have to go to like a welder or so forth for somebody to fabricate that for you. They're usually placed on two areas of the bike, right? Normally you would see them where the carrier is. As you can see in this video, they're usually where the carrier is. Some guys would put them on the front axle, some would put one on the back axle, and what I see guys doing nowadays, they're making this bar on the front of their bikes. Basically it's a metal bar that they mount on the front frame, right? The tube that comes down there on the front of the bike. It does two things, right? Well, they say that it helps to protect their gas tank, and it helps to, you know, basically protect other areas of the front there, which is good. And also what I think it does as well, it adds a little weight on the front of the bike, because you know these little bikes, they're very light, so it adds a little weight on the front of the bike. So you know when wind is hitting the bike, it kind of manages it a little bit better. Now I have a friend who has a Supra bike, and his bike, there's a crash bar on it which was custom made for that specific bike, and it was done by a guy called Stretch Boss Peas. Now he does a lot of custom things, not only on bikes but also on different type of things. Like this man, he's not limited in what he can do, and he does a lot of fabrications. So Stretch Boss Peas, big shout out to him for creating this custom crash bar cage for this bike. And you guys can hit him up, look him up on Instagram, and if you want something custom done to your bike, right, he does it. And as we all know, the benefit of a crash bar is it helps to protect your bike in case of a drop or a fall. You know, sometimes your bike get a simple drop, and when you look at it, the damage, it costs a lot. So investing in crash protection will help you in the long run. Alright, next up, the next modification is mirrors. Now a lot of guys or a lot of persons in JA ride bikes without mirrors. I do as well. Now it is not by choice that I'm riding without a mirror, but let me tell you something. Yes, when you ride with a mirror, it actually helps you a lot, because sometimes, well, with persons who do not ride with a mirror, the moment you take to look around, to glance back, that split second, right, a vehicle may just stop in front of you, quick, and then boom, you're in an accident. The mirrors help you to look down quicker right? All you have to do is to take a quick glance in the mirror. You don't even have to take your eyes off the road for too long. Stock mirrors usually are good. You usually can see behind you very well, but they don't look good. They're very ugly. So mirrors, there are a lot of aftermarket options for mirrors that you can buy, and these can range anywhere between $1,000 up to 3,000 up to 3,500 Jamaican dollars. Moving on, we have handlebars. Handlebars have a lot of advantages, or should I say aftermarket handlebars have a lot of advantages. The stock handlebars, what I realized with them is they make the front end of the bikes feel very light, very light. However, the stock handlebars that come with your bike, they're very good for navigating the traffic, going through traffic and so forth. They have handlebars such as the FZ handlebar, or they call them the FZ handlebar, right? Or this one that I'm currently showing on the screen right now, right? These handlebars help you to sit more over the front end of the bike, which basically puts more weight on the front end. So it's not that easy for the front end the front end doesn't feel that light anymore basically, and it definitely helps you in regards to control over the bike and so forth. I used to buy a handlebar for like 2,000 to 2,500 Jamaican dollars. Nowadays handlebars are priced all the way up to even 5,500 Jamaican dollars. On to the next, we have tires. Now, I personally think that tires are very underrated. The tires help you to corner. They help you with traction on the road. Even when it's raining, tires help you with that. So once you have on a good brand tire, then you will be better off on the street. Now, some of the more popular brands these days are the Maxxis tires, and you have the TVS tires. You also have a couple other brands like Tellishi, and back then you had CST. I'm not sure if CST tires are still being sold, but you have a couple other brands as well. But Maxxis and TVS right now I think are the top brands that are selling. And these tires price range anywhere between 5,000 up to 6,500 Jamaican dollars. I've even heard of them being sold for 7,000 Jamaican dollars. Tires are size specific, so usually on these bikes the stock tires that used to come on them are 90 90 18. So 90 90 18, that's basically the width. One of the 90s stand for the width of the tire. What most persons do is to upgrade their tire to what is known as the 190. The larger the width, the larger the first number will be. The 190 looks wider and give the bike a better stance, and some would say that it gives the bike better handling, right? Some would also debate that 90-90 gives the bike better handling, but that's up to your preference and how it feels. I personally think that the 190 is good amount of width. It gives your bike a lot of stability, and you can corner very good with that. You can lean down with that tire because it has more width on it. Another thing with tires is the stock tires that usually come on bikes. You hear me talk about this time and time again. The stock tires are basically, they're not good. They're very thin and they don't have like different layers in them. Now the aftermarket tires now, they have at least 3 layers if I'm not mistaken. So what that do, basically it's harder for your tire, it's harder for you to get a punctured tire. Stock tires, a needle can go through your tire and cause it to slow leak, and then you have a punch on the road. And they'll also feel a lot better on the road because of the rubber that they use with these tires. The rubbers are more stickier than the stock tires. So basically when the tires get warm, you'll realize that the bike starts to lean better in corners and stick better on the road. Moving forward, the next modification is the horn. Whenever you buy a bike, it usually comes with a stock horn basically, which we call the PP horn. Now a lot of guys change out these horns, first of all because they're not loud enough. A lot of them are not as loud loud enough rather, and the aftermarket horns sound better and they're really loud as well. So the aftermarket horns, such as, they're called snail horns basically because of the shape of the horns, but then you have your Benz horn, right, and you have other type of these aftermarket horns. So it's always good that vehicle drivers, persons using the road, pedestrians and so forth, they can hear you not only through your muffler, and I'm not saying your muffler should be loud, but you should have a loud enough horn as well, so that they can, you know, when you're pressing that horn button, they can definitely hear you coming. For a pair of horn now, usually the price would be around $1,000, but then it was more cheaper. It was like $700 or so forth. Nowadays I think it's up to $1,000, up to even $1,500, and you can even get horns for like $2,000. You have the horns such like this one here, which is your ear horn, right? You can get that. You can get these horns at basically any auto parts shop, almost any auto parts shop, right? You can go to your bike store and ask about these horns, your Benz horn and so forth. Alright, now this mod is quite often overlooked because it's a very simple and cheap mod. Well, it's one of the cheaper mods, and it's basically a shifter sock. That's what it's called. I don't know what other persons refer to it as, but the right name for it is a shifter sock, or I think they'll call it like a gear shift protector or something like that. But basically what it does is it protects your shoes. It's a very simple mod, and you can get it for like 300 Jamaican dollars at any bike shop, and the prices may vary from bike shop to bike shop, and they come in numerous different colors. Those who ride bikes know that your left shoes, if you don't protect it, it will always have a mark in it where the shifter usually touches the shoes. Here's another quick mod that you can do. Well, it's not really a quick mod, but it's a very cheap mod, but it will definitely protect your bike, which is your investment. It's a kill switch. Now, bikes usually come with a kill switch already, which is a big red button on the right control switch, right? However, I'm talking about a secondary kill switch. This one basically cuts all power to the bike. It all depends on how you install this kill switch, right? But the kill switch basically is a theft prevention technique. It stops thieves from carrying your bike away. So it might not stop them from taking it, because them can take your bike, but it might stop them from like starting it and getting away. A kill switch is a very cheap mod. You can get a switch rather from an electronic store, or maybe a bike shop, or wherever, auto parts store, or wherever. You can buy a kill switch for like $10 or maybe $5, $10, $15. It depends on where you go. You can buy a switch, and then you would basically go to a mechanic, whether a bike mechanic or an electrician or somebody who works on vehicles. Basically, they'll help you to install the switch. So it's a good thing to have, and it will protect your bike. All right, moving on, we have lights. The headlight in specific. We know that whenever you buy, well, back then when you buy a bike, it usually come with what do they call the light? I think they call it cube light, like a chicken cube light, because the back then bikes used to come with halogen bulbs. Basically, those are the orange bulbs, and those bulbs they weren't very bright. Now a quick mod is buying LED bulb, a super white bulb, or even a HID bulb. Newer bikes now, they're coming with LEDs already installed, so that's a plus. That's a big plus. That will increase your vision on the road and help other vehicles on the road, other road users, to see you in the night especially. LED bulbs are as cheap as 2,000 Jamaican dollars, and the price goes up. Here's a quick mod that can help to increase your speed. Most persons want low end speed, they want quickness. It's changing the front sprocket, or others would call it the front cog, or they would call it the cog wheel. Whatever you call it, it's the same thing. Front cogs can be as cheap as 700 Jamaican dollars, and the price goes up. Normally a bike would come with maybe a 14 teeth front cog, and if you upgrade, but this one is kind of technical as well, because you cannot add too many teeth on the front because it may rub, and it may also cause your chain to wear more, so you don't want to go up too far. The rear sprocket now, that one would be a little bit costly, right? However, the more teeth you add on in the rear, the quicker your bike will be as well. It will have more low-end, and it will also tend to lift with you very easily as well. If you're looking to change both sprockets, do some research on what is the best ratio for what you want. If you want low-end speed or top-end speed, go ahead and do some research on that before you change it out. Alright, and last but not least, I know that a lot of you sort of left this out, but this is by far one of the most common modifications that persons do to their bike, and that's changing the exhaust or the muffler. Nowadays, a lot of guys, what they're doing is they are putting on what is known as the Kel-Tec muffler. So it's a very odd sounding pipe, and a lot of persons actually like it. It's very loud as well. It's basically what a lot of bikers are going for. Mufflers usually would cost you like $5,000 and so forth. Now, even a Kel-Tec, if you go some places, you're paying almost $10,000. I've seen a Kel-Tec with the full pipe on it being sold for $9,500. Other places would sell it for $8,500, other places $7,500. But the price of these mufflers have increased over the years. But then you could get a rainbow muffler for like $5,000, and you would be good with that. But nowadays persons are going for the Kel-Tec, so the prices are pretty much up on that. Alright, so that basically wraps up the video for today. So those are some of the top 10 mods that I see persons do to their bikes. Now remember, if I missed out anything, go ahead, drop it down there in the comment section, and I will create another video and include that in it. Alright, but for now, thank you so much for watching. Bless up on yourself and enjoy on a day. Bless.